the Road to Tokyo series. We sit down with Xendurance pro athletes to talk shop on their road to the Olympics, what they do outside of training, and more.
All right, good morning, everyone. I'm Jason St. Clair. I'm one of the owners here at Xendurance, and I have the pleasure of interviewing Kortney Ross today, 2020 hopeful, and welcome to Team X&D's podcast. Kortney, thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
So Kortney is a track and field athlete for, the U.S., and we wanted to bring in because she's in the she does the event of pole vaulting, which I find very interesting. So, Kortney, let's start with a little bit about you. Where are you from?
So I'm from San Diego, born and raised.
That is one of the best places.
Yes, I know.
That's probably top 3 places for me to visit and or live.
Oh, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. What part of San Diego?
The North County, by Del Mar.
Oh,
Anyone
Del Mar.
knows where that is?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Actually, my wife lived in Cardiff for 5 years, so.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Spent a lot of time there.
Oh, shoot.
But we would go to a lot of events at the Del Mar Fairgrounds for this company, so we'd actually spend a lot of time there, so love going there. Do you get back there often?
Not as much as I would like.
Yeah.
Because, San Diego's awesome, 72 and sunny all the time.
Yeah.
Like, shoot. But no, I don't go back all that often because being a full-time training athlete, you don't really get freedom to travel.
Is your family there?
My parents and my grandparents are still there.
Any siblings?
I have an older sister, but she lives in Houston.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So tell us about, obviously you were an extremely good athlete in high school. Was track and field the only sport you did?
No, I actually played golf and I did
Really?
soccer for a couple of years, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
How did you end up picking in track and field? And how did you pick pole vaulting?
Well,
Out of all those events.
It was all my dad's fault. So I actually wanted to be a distance runner because we would play freeze tag in elementary school, and I came home one day and I was like, Dad, I'm faster than all the boys. And so he put me in track, and I was a distance runner at first, and so we thought that I would be like a mile or 800 runner.
Right.
And I entered
Which one
a
were you
couple.
better at, mile or 800?
The 800.
God, you guys are crazy.
I ran it once, and I won once because I followed the girl.
Yeah.
And I passed her right at the end.
Hey, that's how I'd do it.
That was the last time I ever ran 800. I was supposed to run the mile right afterwards, and I bawled to my parents because I did not want to run it. And that was the end of my distance career.
What's your fastest mile?
Oh, geez, like 7:15.
It's probably faster than me.
It was like middle school.
Still impressive. How about 800?
Jeez. Oh, geez, that's probably like a 2:30.
That's a hard event.
Yeah.
Okay, the 400 and 800, and obviously the mile as fast as they run it, that's insane to me.
I don't know how people do that.
I don't either.
Running is terrible. We do 90-second runs for preseason, and I want to cry.
Yeah.
They're hard.
I did a track workout with one of our soccer player athletes that came in town, and I wanted to go get a workout, but also just work out with them.
Yeah.
And I was dying, and first I was like, it was with a former track runner at Oregon, Sarah Whipple.
Oh, yep. Yeah.
And so I'm sure that programming came from, her knowledge of tracks. So I was like, why would anyone want to do this on purpose? This is terrible.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I mean, I do get when you're in shape, then it feels good to run and you like running distance and it feels better the further you go. But to get to that point, man, it takes a lot.
Yeah. So tell me about golf, because I love golf. And I used to work at a golf agency, so that's very interesting to me. Were you better at golf or soccer?
I think it was I was on the same level as both of them. Yeah, like I was decent at soccer, but I wasn't a starter. And so that's kind of why I quit after sophomore year. Yeah. And then with golf, that was also my dad's fault. He loved golf, so we just kind of started, we'd go with him to the driving range and hit with him all the time. And so, our golf team wasn't very good at my high school, so I was probably one of the better players on our high school team.
That's awesome.
But we would lose a lot of matches because we lived right where there were a bunch of girls who actually were in like country clubs and got golf lessons and all of that. So, I mean, we weren't terrible. I think my best score was for a round of 8 was maybe like a 40 or 30.
That's impressive, though.
I think.
That's good, though.
That was a long time ago.
It is always Dad's fault because I have 3 daughters, and legitimate, it's funny you say that because I worked at an agency that was golf, and 3 3 weeks ago, maybe it was a month ago, I bought my daughters a plastic playset of golf so they can just start swinging it.
Oh,
and
geez.
they loved it, except the dog ate all the plastic balls. So
Oh, no.
that's gone.
Yeah.
But I saw golf as just a very unique niche because like people don't really not pay attention to it, but it's not a traditional sport that you go to school and do, right?
Yeah.
And it's obviously expensive, but that's awesome. So you started doing track and field in high school. Obviously, you became very successful at that.
So after my distance career, I became a sprinter, and that's where I started running like the 200 and the 100. And I would have to.
Now we're talking.
Yeah,
like
those are the better
yeah.
events. Yes, I was a long jumper as well, and I actually would have to run with the boys at certain track meets because they didn't have girls who were fast enough to run with me.
Yeah.
And so I would run with the boys.
That's awesome.
It was the smaller, local track meets.
Yeah.
And then we were waiting at a regional meet one year, and we were watching pole vault, and my dad goes, "You know what? You should try that." And I'm sitting there watching these girls bend a pole, try to jump 12 feet, and I'm like, "Heck no!" Yeah, right. And the next weekend, I was at pole vault practice.
So, I mean, you obviously stayed focused on that event. Then, did you completely stop running sprinting events?
No, all through high school, I ran sprinting events. Okay. My dad bet me that he would give me $1,000 if I broke 8 school records, which my school was pretty brand new.
Right.
So at the time, it was maybe 7 years old, so there weren't many records.
That's still quite a few years.
I mean,
it's a little establishment, though. I'm sure there's good.
A little bit.
Stats,
we had some records.
Yeah.
Like there was records in all the events. They just weren't,
Right.
So I got to 6.
That's very impressive, though.
So yeah, it was. I didn't get the $1,000 though.
Well, sounds like you got a good scholarship.
I did.
That, right. So tell us about that. From high school, you went.
So I went to the University of Oregon.
Amazing.
And I actually committed to UCLA, and I was gonna go there because they gave me a full ride. Yeah. And I was like, heck yeah, I'm gonna go to UCLA. Like I went to all their camps.
Yeah.
And I loved the program. He was the first guy to get me to jump 13 feet. The coach there, his brother was actually my first pole vault coach.
Right.
So I was going to go to UCLA, but then I went on a visit to Oregon and fell in love because, you walk on campus and Oregon's beautiful.
Yeah.
The facilities are amazing. And it's Tracktown USA. How can you not go there?
Well, Nike, yeah. And obviously one of the prestigious, track schools in the United States. So,
oh, yeah. Yeah, and I wasn't going to be the best pole vaulter there because they had Melissa Gergel and Jordan Ross Kelly. There were 2 pole vaulters who were better than me at the time. And so I wanted to kind of be under somebody else and kind of follow in their footsteps. And so that's why I went to Oregon.
So how was your career there at Oregon?
Terrible.
Really?
No, so my PR out of high school,
terrible,
my PR out of high school was 13.6.
Okay.
And then my PR out of college was 13.6. So when I was at Oregon, I just kept getting hurt.
Yeah.
Being a San Diego girl, 72 and sunny, and going to the cold and rainy, it gets to you. So I would get injured every indoor season, and then make it back just enough to be able to score at conference.
Right.
And then I would make it to regionals, but I never made it to nationals. And so finally, after your first year, your freshman year, it happens to you, and you're like, okay, you know what? No, that was just my freshman year. I can stick it out.
Yeah.
Happened again sophomore year. I was like, you know what? No, I can make this work because I loved my roommate.
Yeah.
Laura Raisler, actually.
Who's one of our athletes as well.
Yes, she's an 800 run. She's crazy.
We're gonna interview her, I think, second week of January.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I love Laura.
Well, hi, Laura.
Yeah.
So I loved hanging out with her, and I didn't want to leave, so I stuck around for a 3rd year. And I was also in the product design program, which not many schools have that. So I was like, okay, you know what? I like doing this. I love the school, but track is just not going well. And finally, I got hurt again my junior year and was like, I can't do this anymore. So I transferred home. I went to San Diego State.
Awesome. Well, not a bad place to go. Well, this makes for an amazing story then, because I actually read that you want to be a police officer. Is that true?
So, because I actually PR'd at my last meet of my college year, my college career, I jumped 13.7. But to be a professional pole vaulter, especially in America, you can't be jumping 13.7.
Right.
You have to be jumping in the 15s. To make an Olympic team, it's going to take at least 15.6 this year.
Right.
And so I was kind of like, I don't know what I'm going to do after college. My college coach at San Diego State was the SDPD recruiter. So that's why I got into that, was because he's like, you know what, well, why don't you come out, like, take the test, do the whole, like, physical test. So I went out, I passed all of them. I was going to go into the academy, and then I had to wait 6 months to start the academy. And so
gave you enough time to think about it.
And I was like, oh, do I really want to do this?
Yeah.
So then the coach that was at the Olympic Training Center in Chula Vista actually had recruited me out of high school. But he went and coached at the, I don't know, some school in Chicago. I forgot. I don't know where he went. But yeah, it was just in a city where I did not want to go. Right. So I didn't go there. And then he was back down at the center, and he's like, you know what, why don't you come jump with me? And they gave me 3 months to try out and basically show that I could get better. And I PR'd by 6 inches in that first. So I jumped 14.1 with him. And then by the end of that year, I actually PR'd by a whole foot. So I jumped 14.7 with him in that first year.
That's crazy.
And I got to stay.
So you just needed a break.
I needed a pole vault for myself.
Yeah.
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 Because when I was at college, I was pole vaulting to score points and basically be there for the team. And apparently for me, that doesn't work.
Interesting. Well, I mean, that's funny you say that, because you look at track and field as it is a team sport, but it looks like more individual. Yet you had the experience of feeling like you weren't the pole vaulter for yourself; you were a pole vaulter for your team. Yeah,
like I had so much pressure on me in college to do well and score points, which, I mean, I wanted to be there for my team. And don't get me wrong, I tried to jump high, but it was just kind of like I was pole vaulting for somebody else.
Sure.
And so the motivation wasn't really there. And then when I left college and had to jump on my own, it was kind of like, well, if I'm doing this, might as well try to be good at it.
Yeah, yeah. So what brought you? You're in Arizona now. For those that are listening, we're headquartered in Scottsdale, Arizona, and Kortney's here. So you're training here full time.
Yes.
How did you get here?
So I was at the training center for 3 years, and it kind of got to the point where I needed a new situation.
In San Diego?
Yes, in San Diego.
That's the Olympic. There's an Olympic training center there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where I was training for the last 3 years, and then my boyfriend actually he went to school in Sanford in Birmingham, Alabama, at Sanford, and he was graduating, and he came in 4th at the 2016 trials, and so he wanted to keep jumping as well, and we kind of were like trying to decide, like, okay, would he come out to the training center and would we live on campus, kind of hang out with each other all the time, work out with each other all the time. Yeah. Like, that's probably not a great idea. And then he was friends with a bunch of the guys that train out here, because there's a pretty big pole vault squad that's out here.
Yeah. Yep.
And so there are 2 pole vault coaches out here that are really good. And so one is Dean Starkey. And that's where my boyfriend, he goes and trains down there with Dean Starkey. Awesome. Which I say down there because it's South Phoenix. It's in Queen Creek. So it's way down there.
That's down by where I live.
Yeah, way out there.
Yeah, out in the weeds.
Yeah, and then I train with my coach, Nick Hysong, up in North Phoenix.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So it was a good situation where we wouldn't hang out with each other all the time.
Yeah, awesome. So tell me about 2019, you had a really good indoor season, and then outdoors. Did you face injuries again?
Basically, no.
How'd your season go for 2019?
So in 2019, my indoor season was amazing. Yeah. I PR'd, so I jumped 463, which is 15.2.
Wow. And
my PR before that was 460. And I was every week basically going for a PR. Yeah. I would jump 456, which is 15 feet even, and then I would be trying for that next bar. Like we would go to 464 or we'd go to 465, and we would just try to get that next bar. And then indoor season, so at Indoor USA's, I was jumping really well in warm-ups and then only cleared the opening height, which, I mean, sometimes it happens in pole vault. I came in 4th because it kind of happened to everyone else too.
Yeah.
But then my outdoor season, it started out well, but then I kept having this thing where I would kind of pull my hamstring, but then I wouldn't. So I guess, yes, I had injuries outdoor, but they weren't big enough injuries to keep me out. Like I could keep training, but then I would hurt my hamstring and have to sit out another couple days. Right. And then like right when I was jumping 460 outdoors, I would get hurt again. And so finally it wasn't like I couldn't keep up consistent training. So by the time I got to Outdoor USA's, I just felt like I wasn't in shape anymore.
You weren't prepared.
Yeah.
Totally.
And I also got sick at outdoor USAs too, so that didn't really help.
Oh, that didn't help. Yeah.
So yeah.
I can totally relate to your story because I lived my whole career in the training room. So totally relate to that. Has that ever affected you mentally? Like you talked about I almost pulled my hamstring. So we're always injured. I know we're always hurt. It feels like, right, as athletes.
Oh yeah.
Unless when you're injured, you can't, right? So, but that when you're hurt, you're always mentally thinking about like, okay, if I go just a little further and hurt myself, then I'm injured and I can't play or perform. Does that ever lead to like a mental block for you as an athlete? Those slight hurts?
Last year it definitely did, because it was at this point where like I would do one too many and then I would feel a tweak. I'm like, oh my gosh, I did it again. And so it was almost like I would cut everything short because I didn't want to get hurt again, or I didn't want to tweak it again and do something. And so it definitely affected me last year mentally, just like I wouldn't run as fast as I could, or I wouldn't go as fast as I could or I wouldn't go all out because I didn't want to get hurt again, or I didn't want to have like a little minor injury that would hold me out for a couple days.
Right, totally.
Or then I just didn't want to actually like full on actually pull my hamstring.
Yeah, no, totally, I can relate to that. So leading to that, I feel like as athletes, you're at the level where everyone physically performs at the highest level, obviously. Yeah. But it always comes down to that mental capacity.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
What, for you personally, what's your mental mindset? Or is there stuff that you go through to make yourself prepare mentally in training and or for competition?
Yeah, I mean, I visualize a lot.
Do you?
Yeah, so that way I can see what the jump is supposed to look like in my head. And
when do you do that?
I do it usually the night before, kind of like while I'm laying in bed.
Trying to fall asleep?
Yeah. That's the easiest time to do it.
That's awesome.
And then before practice, like either when I'm sitting at work being bored or I'm on the way to practice, I'll drive in silence and just think about kind of the last practice and what cues I'm trying to feel and what I'm actually trying to feel, and like thinking about getting on bigger poles and kind of gaining the confidence that way, because I've gone through it in my head so many times that it feels like I've already done it.
Sure. So what's different from 2019 now transition to 2020 going into the Olympics? What for you is different? Maybe it's mindset, maybe it's new physical training. What does that look like for you right now?
Well, shoot, I made it through an entire preseason without getting hurt, so we're at a good point right now.
Tip my cap to you on that. Yeah.
But thank you, because last year I had got hurt preseason, so I kind of like had to take another couple weeks off for that.
Yeah.
So this year we made it through, and I mean I'm just focused on having fun pole vaulting.
Good.
And being as confident as I can be, and just knowing that I can. If I jump my best, I can't be beat.
Sure. Let's talk about that for a second. Confidence. I mean, that's huge for someone's, as an individual, to perform or just maybe do their daily job, or just, I guess, operate as a human, right? It's confidence. So what helps you get your confidence up, or if you have a challenge, maybe it's mental or maybe a physical one, like what helps you get your confidence back?
I mean, sometimes because it's hard, because being a pole vaulter and a female pole vaulter, you have those little things that kind of scare you. So, like yesterday at practice, we had a headwind. And so kind of what works is I have this deal with my coach, because I don't want to run through at practice. Yeah. So that's where I work on my confidence is in practice. If I can take a whole practice and not run through it all, then that gives me confidence going to the next practice. Yeah. It's kind of like little baby steps.
Sure.
So I have this deal with my coach because at the beginning of the year I was having a little trouble. Like I would run through and I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. Or I would stay on small poles, which wouldn't help me at all. Yeah. And so I made this deal where if he would stand next to the runway, I don't want him to tap me, but it's just kind of like this thing where he's standing there. So if maybe something goes wrong, he could push me, or he's not going to do anything, but maybe he could. But I don't want him to tap me. But if I run through, he gets to punch me in the face.
How did you come up with that?
Because he would not stand up next to the runway before then. But I was like, you know what? Maybe if I pose it to him in this way, then maybe he'll do it.
Would he really punch you in the face is the question.
I'm going off of yes because every time I have not ran through, and I really don't want him to punch me in the face.
That's awesome.
And so knowing him, hopefully he wouldn't punch me in the face, but he would punch me.
That's funny. Are there any other challenges that you deal with, maybe as an athlete or in your personal life that, hinders you from performing at your best that you'd want to share with us?
Shoot, stretching all the time, man.
Stretching. No, that's...
Yeah.
And that prevents injuries, or could, possibly.
Doing enough recovery. I've definitely gotten better at it this year. Because when you say what are the challenges, it's kind of making sure that I stretch and roll out and actually ice.
Yeah. So what are some of your methods for recovery?
Getting massage, going to see a physical therapist, or actually like putting on a movie out in the living room, because we have those mats that you usually see in weight rooms. Yeah. We have those like foam mats in our living room. That's like our living room rug. Yeah. And so actually going out there, like putting a movie on in the living room and rolling out and stretching like with all my roommates, because there's 5 of us and we're all pole vaulters.
Oh, awesome. Do you follow some sort of stretch, or just kind of your own?
Just kind of what I need to work on that day. No kind of routine.
Got it. I got to introduce you to Ramwad then. They're one of our partners.
Shoot.
So it's literally like it's an app, and it's like 15, 20 minutes. I think the longest one that I've done is 25 minutes, but it's like basically yoga on speed dial. Like you can just do it in 10, 15 minutes daily. But it's an app, and they walk you through it, and there's someone doing it. You can watch it, an iPad on your phone or TV.
That would be pretty awesome, because I follow Maddie Rogers on
she
Instagram.
Does it,
I see her doing that all the time.
So it's one of our partners with Xendurance.
Yeah.
So
I can get into that.
Yeah. Your little love, Ramon. Yeah.
Get all the roommates into it.
So obviously recovery and prep is huge for the physical body too. And that leads me into the question about diet. Like, how important is diet? And I hate the word diet. I talk lifestyle of eating. What does that look like for you, and how important is it to you?
It's pretty important, because I'm a big sweets person. I love dessert.
Oh, me too.
Oh, it's the best meal of the
day. What's your favorite? I mean, like, what is it, like chocolate or ice cream?
Chocolate. Really, it's frozen yogurt with hot fudge and sprinkles. And peanuts, too. But yeah, it has to have hot fudge. If we go to a frozen yogurt place, I will search and make sure that it has hot fudge.
That's funny. That's awesome.
But yeah, nutrition's pretty important. My boyfriend he's not a nutritionist, but he's very into nutrition, because that's what he got his degree in.
Oh, cool.
And so that helps me a lot, because then he comes up with kind of the meals that we eat, or he gives me the ideas of what to cook.
Sure.
And so, we eat a lot of chicken and veggies, or meat and veggie, meat and starch, so sweet potatoes. And then for breakfast, actually, it really helps for breakfast, because now I don't eat like pancakes or bagels or muffins or anything like that. I'll have yogurt and maybe sometimes granola, but it's always the granola with low sugar.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to spike your glycemic index, or you don't want to spike your sugar intake immediately after breakfast. Yep. And so it's a lot of just like protein for breakfast. And so, I don't focus on it that hard, because that would just be miserable at that point. Yeah. But it's definitely, it's a big part, because,
do you go by portion size, or, do you weigh food? There's a lot of different things out there. There's macros, and people weigh it, or portion. How do you go about?
No, so I already eat small portions to begin with. So it's kind of like just making sure that there's a protein, a veggie, and a starch, but sometimes it's just protein and veggie, and kind of eating more veggies than the protein, and then eating until you're satisfied. Yeah. And not until you're like stuffed.
Totally. And one more question on that too, like what does it mean quality-wise, food? Because you can eat certain foods, but to me, what's most important is going to be quality too of what you're eating.
Oh yeah. So my boyfriend is sponsored by their club, AZPVA, is sponsored by Midwestern Meats.
Yeah. Okay.
And so we get all of our meat from there. Oh, so sweet. it's high quality meat.
Good.
Our meat is very high quality, and then the veggies, we don't eat organic, because that's expensive.
Yeah, and there's opinions on organic these days, if it's really what they say it is. But
yeah, and you know what, the regular broccoli is just fine.
Yeah,
we'll eat that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So now that you eat, and we actually talk here at Xendurance to our athletes and our distributors that whole whole food eating lifestyle comes first. But I believe supplementation exists for a reason, based on the way we mass-produce foods, the qualities, even meats, but produce too. I heard on the radio a couple months ago that, the price is going up and the quality is going down. And so to me, why I'm so passionate about this company and creating quality products is that we miss those nutrients or vitamins in our diet.
Yeah.
So what does that look like for you? You've been an athlete of ours, and tell us why you supplement as an athlete.
Well, shoot, I noticed a huge difference when I first started. My favorite product is the Immune Booster.
Is it?
Oh, yeah. There was like a 2-week span where my boyfriend was sick, my parents were sick, and we were visiting all of them, but I was taking it the whole time, and I missed it completely, and then I ran out, and 4 days later,
you got sick.
I got sick.
Yeah. That is so funny. I used to only take that in the wintertime.
Really?
Yeah, until, gain more knowledge about really what it could do for you and what we had in our product. But I take it year round now, obviously. But I've 3 little girls at home. They're sick all the time.
Kids get sick all the time.
I fight it every time. I'm good. The Immune Boost is like insurance. It's such a quality product.
The flu, I think, is going around our house right now, and I've been taking it every day.
Yeah.
And I feel great.
Good.
Yeah. And then, I am a huge, I like whole foods. I also love processed foods because, crackers are my favorite thing. But we try to stay away from those.
Yeah.
But yeah, just supplementing, it gives you it helps you out in practice. So I'll take Fuel 5, usually Fuel 5, not Fuel 5 Plus, because I try to save the caffeine.
Sure.
But I take it every Monday, Wednesday, Friday when we vault, and I actually feel like I can make it through the whole practice and not kind of complain about being tired or
crash.
Yeah. I make it through our entire 4 or 5 hour practice just by taking Fuel 5. And I was taking creatine for a while while we were lifting heavy and kind of going through that phase. And I actually PR'd by 10 pounds in my power clean.
Did you?
Yeah. So I cleaned 210. We were going for 215 this year, but yeah, 210 was the max.
Awesome. So, all right, go back on Fuel 5. You said we have Fuel 5 and Fuel 5 Plus. The Plus has the caffeine. So when do you save the caffeine? When do you use that product?
Usually for Wednesdays, because Wednesdays are the hardest day of the week because you're hurting. It's the middle of the week. Usually Mondays and Tuesdays are harder days for us. Tuesday's easier than Monday, but it's kind of you're at that point where you're it's the middle of the week, lol.
You need a little
so I'll save it for
Got it
for Wednesdays, and then I'll usually take it on. You don't really need it on meat days, but I'll take it on meat days just to kind of make sure that I have the energy and the alertness.
Do you use Fuel 5 on meat days if you don't need the
I'll
caffeine?
use either or.
Okay, either or.
Yeah, it kind of depends on what time the meat's at. If it's an early morning meat, I'll use Fuel 5 Plus.
Yeah.
But
Wake
if
you
it's
up.
yeah. Yeah, and then if it's an afternoon, I'll use Fuel 5 because either way I take it.
Well, talk to me about creatine because, we as a company try to educate women on how good creatine is for women. And you just said you PR'd when you used it for weightlifting. Tell me about why you chose to use it.
Well, first of all, it makes the Fuel 5 taste way better too. It already tastes good, but it adding that lemon lime in there.
Yeah, a little lemon citrus.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
But then I took it because I'm going off of what Andrew told me, and because it helps your muscles kind of react. Is what I'm going off of. Why I kept taking it, and you retain water so you don't get as dehydrated.
Yeah. So for those listening, Andrew's another owner with Xendurance, and he's a former track athlete, so he's able to relate with a lot of our track athletes. But yeah, the ingredient we use, Creapure, comes from Germany. They have a clinical on it, so it's proven for brain function, lean muscle mass, and that's why people have that stigma about, well, I'm going to retain a bunch of water and get bulky, and actually can help you lean out and lose weight. But the third one is for explosive movement and athlete performance. Yeah. And so that's why it's crucial that athletes like you, especially in weightlifting training, you're trying to get that explosive movement, right? Probably like that first movement off the runway, right?
Oh, yeah.
You need that quick explosive movement.
Yeah. So I was taking it pretty consistently through preseason for that reason, because it's kind of you want to remain reactive while you're going through all of this, and I just stopped taking it, but because I'm trying to see kind of what it feels like on it and off of it, and I'm kind of I'm starting to feel it. I'm like, I think I might go back on it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Just don't take it like your boyfriend did in that video.
Oh, geez, no way. Straight, no water.
Oh, man.
Oh, no.
For you guys are listening, you can go. You posted that, didn't you?
I'm pretty sure it might have been a story, but I can get him to recreate it.
Oh, man. Her boyfriend took the shot of creatine, because you'll see it floating around on Instagram where we take the shots of creatine, just wash it down with water, but he did it. I believe he spit it out, right?
Yeah.
That was so funny. I laughed so hard. That was hilarious.
He's also taken 10 pills all at one time. It's like
I do that. I
don't. Well, and he did it. So he's done it without water.
Oh, that's impressive.
I don't know how he does that.
Yeah.
But because I have to take 3 at a time with water.
Yeah, I mean, most people start taking capsules or tablets. But,
oh, yeah.
How about the Extreme Endurance? Talk to me about that product.
So I noticed a difference with that one, too, because so I take that one every morning and every night. And there are some times where I will forget to take it, like one night, and then the next morning I'll also forget to take it. And I don't feel as good. Mm-hmm. And then when I first started taking Extreme Endurance, we had gone through preseason last year. And preseason was rough. Like, it was hard. And then I started taking it, and all of a sudden, my workouts just got so much easier. I was like, no way.
Yeah.
And I was able, because we would do 14 200s, and that's the kind of stuff we did last year.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And it actually helped me kind of survive the workouts. I mean, they were so hard.
Yeah.
But it felt easier than before when I wasn't taking it. And so this year, I've stayed on it, and preseason was so much easier this year. Also because, I mean, it just in general was easier. We did less volume, but it was still easier to get back in shape and go through that workouts being on Extreme Endurance.
Yeah. For those of you listening, Extreme Endurance, if you haven't heard of it or tried it, it's actually our flagship product. I think that's absolutely what separates us as a company is that product. We've had 12 clinicals in 10 years on it, and we've proven to reduce lactic acid by 26%, muscle trauma or CK levels, and then a big driver for me is oxidative stress, which is it's the leading cause of degenerative disease today. So that's like everything we're doing environmental or what's happening to us environmental is what oxidative stress is. So we've proven to reduce that too. So it's a very unique product and unique and versatile for many different uses. But the athletes definitely see a huge difference in the performance.
Yeah.
But last question on supplements. You're an athlete, and we kind of grew through athletes because we knew that if an athlete would take these products and prove themselves, that if an athlete takes it to do their job, not the job, that us people down here, the weekend warriors or just people want to be healthy would take it because you rely on it for yourself. Why would you recommend supplements to someone who's not a high profile athlete like yourself?
Because it helps you kind of do the extra things better, or your daily life better. You feel better, especially with Xendurance products, because they're good products for you, and you just feel better. Like you can play with your kids longer. I mean, because I use it to work out better, and it gives me more energy. It gives me better workouts. But like for the normal everyday person, it's kind of like if you're always tired, like kind of when you get to the end of your day and you just don't feel good, it's kind of like it gives you a little extra edge.
Totally.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you. Question, what does success look like to you?
Being happy.
Yeah.
Being proud of what I've done, having my parents be proud of me.
Yeah.
And then, achieving goals along the way.
Sure.
So as I set goals, obviously I have the big high goal up there of winning the Olympics. Then there's steps down and kind of achieving the goals along the way. Making my parents proud.
What would you say is your biggest accomplishment or achievement that you're most proud of yourself? And it doesn't have to do with athletics or anything like that. It could just be a personal thing.
Oh, shoot.
Have you thought of that?
No. I guess, being a good person. I just where I'm at now, I feel I'm proud of where I've come. And I guess I have kind of thought about it where I'm proud that I'm still going for a dream when so many people kind of fall off because they think I need to make money. And I'm at this point where, I make enough money to keep the dream alive. Yeah. And I'm following this dream and doing what I have to do to kind of achieve this goal. And I haven't given up on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm proud of myself for doing that.
I love that. And well, share what that dream is. What is this dream for you?
So my dream is to make an Olympic team, and kind of be the best athlete that I can be. So be the best pole vaulter that I can be. And so the fact that I'm still chasing this Olympic dream and trying to make an Olympic team and kind of represent the United States. That's where I'm going for.
That's actually my next question, because when I was 8, I remember watching, I played baseball, but I remember watching the Olympic baseball team when they had it, and I was like, I want to do that. So I always had goals one was to get a scholarship at high school, but then play for Team USA, and I did, and I didn't realize how impactful it was to wear that jersey with USA on your chest, right?
Oh,
and
yeah.
I've kept that jersey, and that's the only jersey I framed because it was the most powerful transition and change in my life as an athlete was wearing, the United States on my chest. So what does that mean for you to be at the Olympics representing USA?
It means that this all wasn't for nothing.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't just kind of waste my time going and trying to do something. Like, it means that I was a success.
Yeah.
I was able to kind of achieve this dream that I've spent the last 15 years, I guess. Well, technically 27 years working on, but the last 15 years working towards.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't realize I was going for the Olympics until like after college, but
that's probably the best way, though.
Yeah.
Which again, this is gonna make for an amazing story, because like you just said too, like you could have gone and found a career and made money, but money's not what makes you happy, right? And to be happy is probably what you're doing and enjoying it.
Yeah.
What would you do if you weren't doing pole vaulting?
Well, not a police officer. That's for sure. I've decided against that one now.
You probably run some people down.
Well, yeah. But I wouldn't be a police officer.
What was? Would you major in college?
So that's another thing. So when I was doing product design when I was at Oregon, I was 3 years into a specialized degree. And then when I transferred, I actually had to take 9 credits to even transfer over the summer. And because with the NCAA, you have to be so far along with your degree each year. So I had to be 80% towards my degree going into my 4th year. And so I ended up with a degree in social science.
Got it. Okay, well, that doesn't mean anything, but what would
that means nothing.
Where you're at today, what would you do? What would you want to do?
Design shoes for Nike. I still want to do that. That's been my dream since I was like 5 years old. I love shoes.
So you have a creative mind.
Awesome. Oh, you kind of. I'm pretty good at copying things.
It's okay.
If you asked me to draw, actually one of the reasons why I was okay with transferring was because I was in this advanced drawing class.
Yeah.
And when I was in the easy drawing class, my friend would help me out doing all the drawings.
Yeah.
Which it wasn't that hard. I could do those ones myself. But then I got into this advanced drawing class, and we had to draw a tea set. And mine looked so bad that I was like, there is no way that I'm putting this up in front of the class, because when you're in art classes, you put them up and everybody critiques them, and that's how you get your grades if you can explain it well. And man, I did not want to show it.
Like,
I dropped the class before that.
That's hers.
That's what hurt, because everybody else is in that class. They look so good, and then mine looked terrible.
So is Nike your favorite shoe?
Yeah.
Is that your guilty pleasure?
Yes,
Nike. It's mine.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
My wife could kill me.
Nike.
She's like, "Where'd you get those?" I'm like, Nike sent them to me.
We live right next to the clearance outlet, and man, we end up there a lot.
Do you?
Yeah. Every time I walk in, I buy a new pair of shoes, and I'm like, I'm gonna save them. 3 days later, wearing them to practice.
Well, okay. So do you save the shoes? Like, do you give them in the box, or you wear them?
No. So I got a pair probably a couple months ago that I'm using for practice now.
Yeah.
And then we went for Black Friday. And I got another pair, and I was like, okay, no, I'm going to save these. Like, these will be my competition shoes, or like outdoor shoes. And so I kept the box, and I put them up in my closet, and a week later, I wore them to practice. So, no, I'm not saving them.
Do you have a favorite type of shoe that Nike makes?
Pegasus 34 is the best.
Those are great shoes. Yeah, those are good running shoes.
And then the Air Force. I actually found some Air Force ones that were hot pink.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, I wanted to get them so bad, but I don't need them.
I'm really liking the Reacts right now for myself for running.
Those aren't bad, yeah.
They're squishy, and they're bouncy enough for me to make running a little easier.
See, my trainer actually told me about those. He was like, "Oh yeah, no, they're good for training. Like you could train in them." I'm like, but they have the sock top, right?
Yeah.
And
some of them do.
The older
the
ones,
Flynet?
The Flynet ones, So I never got into those because when
they're pretty sturdy though.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, and they actually kind of run small, but give them a try.
Shoot. I've been so loyal to Pegasus for so long. The 34s are the best. 35s kind of went downhill.
I feel like all your runners are.
It's Pegasus.
Yeah.
Because it's the best running shoe.
It is. No, it is a good shoe. I have a pair too. So what would be your random questions here? Your favorite food, or what would you be your last meal? Hot fudge. Just give me bowls of hot fudge.
Well, it has to have some sprinkles on top. No, probably froyo. No, my last food.
Last meal. What would your
My
last
last meal would be mac and cheese. And probably some mashed potatoes because I love mashed potatoes. What kind of mac and cheese?
Like the box kind, or like frozen, or from?
I could live with some good Velveeta mac and cheese, but one of my training partners actually made her mom's recipe, and it had those thick noodles, and I don't know. I mean, there was a bunch of cheese in it, but man, that was some good mac and cheese. So it'd be her mac and cheese.
So the authentic, yeah.
Yeah, that homemade.
Got it.
Not with the crunchies on top, though.
Yeah. Cats or dogs?
Dogs, for sure.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Make a lot of people upset.
Small
with that.
dogs, actually.
Love it. Unicorns or rainbows?
Unicorns.
Love it. And I know a lot of athletes have superstitions. Do you have any? Or do you
I try not to.
Certain routines or like certain socks you wear or anything?
So I try not to because I'm already pretty mental as a pole vaulter as is.
Sure.
So I don't want to like get myself into these habits. I have a startup routine where I step on the runway and I do my same thing every time. But the first time I jumped 15 feet, I had barbecue. So I ate ribs the night before. And then the morning of, I had huevos rancheros and I jumped 15 feet.
There you go.
And then the next time I jumped 15 feet, I had huevos rancheros again.
You got to keep it up.
Jumped 15 feet again.
See?
And then when I jumped 463, huevos rancheros for breakfast. So apparently I need to keep it going.
Apparently do, yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me. We wish you the best of luck and hope to see you representing Team USA. Where can these listeners find you? What's your Instagram handle?
So it's Kortney Ross, but it's spelled KORTNEYROSS.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.